Hello headbangers, welcome to the club. Legendary British band Queen are an astonishing streaming success story, and one of the few old-school bands to have truly conquered the streaming age. According to an extensive study done by musicbusinessworldwide.com, Queen remain the 38th biggest artist on Spotify today, with over 37.6 million monthly listeners. According to the IFPI, which represents the recording industry worldwide, Queen were the world's 5th biggest revenue-generating recording artist of 2019, and the 6th biggest in 2018. All this from a band who last released a new studio album 26 years ago. Queen's Made in Heaven was released in 1995 and was the band's last studio album to date. Despite all this, it is mind-blowing how much money Queen's music continues to generate in royalties each year. Music Business Worldwide has trawled back through the annual accounts of Queen Productions Limited, the UK-based group into which Queen's turnover is paid each year. Queen Productions Limited is jointly and equally owned by the 3 living Queen founder members, Brian May, Roger Taylor, and John Deacon, plus the estate of Freddie Mercury. The most recent of the firm's annual accounts reveals that Queen generated $58.1 million in the annual period during 2020. Most of this money came from royalties, which amounted to $57.7 million during the whole year. These royalties will have been derived from a variety of sources. But to put things into context, $57.7 million is the equivalent of the payout an artist might expect to receive if their music was played around 14.4 billion times on Spotify. As Music Business Worldwide reveals, these are the net revenues being pulled in by Queen Productions Limited, not money that's yet to wash through a record company or music publisher. Streaming services show that, today, Queen's master recordings are owned by Queen Productions Limited and licensed worldwide to Universal Music. The band's publishing rights, meanwhile, are a little more complex. They are owned by a separate UK company, Queen Music Limited, and administered by Sony Music Publishing. Queen's royalties in fiscal year 2020 were actually significantly down on what the band pulled in a year earlier. In 2020, Queen Productions Limited generated $100.8 million, of which $99 million was from royalties. Queen's astronomical success during 2019 was largely down to one particular reason: the super successful, Oscar-winning biopic Bohemian Rhapsody, which was released in October 2018 and was stuffed with the classic recordings of the band. In its latest filing, Queen Productions Limited notes that the company's decline in revenues in 2020 versus 2019 was expected and can be attributed in part to the success of the film Bohemian Rhapsody. However, the filing adds, given the success of Bohemian Rhapsody, it is anticipated there will be further income from the film in the year ended the 30th of September 2021 and in the years thereafter, although that is expected to decrease year on year. In other words, Bohemian Rhapsody's cinema release provided a one-off spike in revenues for Queen in 2019, but should now continue to boost revenues to a smaller extent as the years tick by. One particularly interesting thing about Queen's recent revenue history is that even before the Bohemian Rhapsody movie arrived, the band's income was already jumping up significantly, so much that in 2018, before the movie came out, the group turned over nearly double what it had just 2 years prior. As Music Business Worldwide mentions, amid the current fierce music industry acquisitions market, this all begs a vital question. If Queen were to sell their music rights today, what kind of price might it fetch? A couple of data points to help us. In its latest annual report, Hipgnosis Songs Fund says that its catalog was recently independently valued at $2.2 billion, based on a multiple of 17. 96x historical annual net publisher share income. The suggestion there, obviously, is that a 17.96 multiple is a reasonable reflection of the market value of gold standard music publishing rights today. In the past 3 years, according to Queen Productions Limited, the band's rights have generated some $186 million in royalties. That's an average across these 3 years of $62 million per annum. This figure obviously represents income from Queen's recorded music as well as music publishing. It's also been boosted by that Bohemian Rhapsody release. At the same time, Queen's music continues to command an enviable market share on streaming services, whose contribution to the music industry keeps on growing each year, driving up Queen's own income. So, just for fun, a 17.96 multiple on $62 million. That would make Queen's royalty-bearing rights worth $1.11 billion today. Regardless, Queen's members aren't likely to have any burning financial imperative to sell. The band and its catalog have proven to be a making money machine for years to come. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons if you want to support the channel, and see you in the next video.